Yeah, so I was in the Army for 8 years, and from 2005, 2013, I signed up for 92 Whiskey, was my primary MOS, which is a water treatment specialist. So I started with Wounded Warrior, and it was an okay process, to be honest. It was a little bumpy. It was okay. I'm grateful and thankful. And, they got me a 30% rating for PTSD and a 10% rating for tinnitus. That was awesome with that. I laid it to rest and let it be. But honestly, of all the things I kind of looked into, I was like, I don't think PTSD and tinnitus is my biggest issues. Like, there's other things that are happening in my life. And so to me, it was okay. And then that same buddy that referred me to Wounded Warrior found you guys, and he's like, Tim, you got to go with Trajector, dude. He's like, they're just so much more supportive, so much more thorough, more in depth. The idea of like, if we don't win, or if you don't win, we don't win. It's not trickery where I'm going to give you guys thousands of dollars to represent me legally and medically and do all this data and research. And then, oh, sorry, can't find anything. And I just wasted my time and money. So I like the idea of kind of the no risk. Yeah. So from the very first phone call with like the nurse person, whatever that job title is, it was probably every bit like hour and a half phone call. They asked me questions of things that I didn't even think about, to be honest, right? She's like, well, we're going to look into that. And just little things like as ridiculous as shaving and facial scars because of adverse situations. I would have never thought those things. And that was just one kind of like way out in left field example for me specifically. It was an hour and a half conversation of like, I don't know how many things there were they asked me about, but I thought was very interesting was there was zero judgment. I felt very comfortable to say honestly. So very thorough, very patient, very empathetic, very understanding. And that was from the very first phone call. And then you guys have the beautiful balance of not being like annoying telemarketers where like you blow me up constantly for like next steps or information gathering or appointment reminders. That's like sometimes too much, but also leaving us like, by the wayside, like, so what the heck happens next? I haven't heard from Trajector in a month and a half. I just spent 2 hours on the phone with this lady. Now what? So your communication is spot on. It's not excessive. It's not leaving us out to dry and wonder and worry and like, well, was that kind of a waste of space? And it wasn't like it was overwhelming, but also not huge gaps in between. So I just thought Trajector had a good balance with that stuff. The process was super streamlined. The communication, again, I just can't brag enough about that. It was kind of a surreal moment because interesting about my situation was I went from 40 to 60 to 80. So I was at 40% when I first started with Trajector. And it was a very involved process, a very thorough process. And then I was like, just simple return on investment as far as my time. I had very low expectations, I guess. And then when I saw that I'd got a 20% increase, again, it was just a very surreal moment. I felt even more valued, more appreciative of what Trajector was able to do for me. And it was like, okay, awesome, sweet, right? And I just, again, a very surreal moment. And it was a great feeling.